Hey, welcome back to Maintainer's Garage Bags. Today we're going to be talking about tools, and you can have a gazillion discussions about tools, about brands, about what tool you need, what tool's the best. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just going to talk about some tools that, if you're starting out, or even if you've been doing this a while, you might not have in your arsenal and that you might need. And some of the stuff I found invaluable. Some of it, you use once every 3 years, but when you need it at one time, it's perfect. And just go ahead and get out of the way. I've got tools from everywhere. I've got tools from Harbor Freight. I've got tools from Walmart. I have one Snap-on tool that my buddy Jason gave me. Husky, Cobalt, Craftsman. I got tools from everywhere. So wherever you get your tools from, no problem. Cool. Glad they had what you needed, and glad it works for you. So let's just go ahead and get that out there. Put that to bed. So the first thing I want to talk about is it's a bit set. Now, you can have standard screwdrivers and you can have Torx drivers and all that, but you get a bit set, which is fairly inexpensive, and it has everything it needs. It's got flat heads, it's got Phillip head, it's got Allen wrench, it's got Torx bits, it's got longer ones. These kind of bits, these specialty bits of Allen wrench and Torx, are really invaluable when you're taking car interiors apart, because without fail, you're going to find out that seatbelt adapter has a freaking Torx bit, or this panel, it's one screw that's holding on and some weird Torx bit. So I found these to be really good, and they're really cheap, so you can get them anywhere. Another one is just a standard, good old-fashioned socket set, but I like these. I've got a big toolbox over there. This is perfect for when I do a track day, or if I'm going to a buddy's house, I can just grab this and go. I mean, this has most of what I need in it. You can catch these things on sale all the time. I got this one on Black Friday like 3 years ago for like 20 bucks, 25 bucks, and it's really jam upset. Another one, obviously nowadays, basically, is a code reader. And I have two versions. I have two different ones. This is my cheap one that I bought for like $30, again at Walmart. This will do whatever you need. This will read codes and all that. It won't get into the ABS modules and the traction control modules and all that. But engine codes, read, tell you what it is, and again, dirt cheap. This is a plastic trim removal tool. And I'm sorry, this is a trim removal tool that's made out of plastic. These are great. It's much better than using a screwdriver. You really have to be trying hard to jack your interior up or like tear up your leather with this. If you use any sort of care when you're using these, they work really well. And these all come in sets. This is a pick, and man, these are really great for pulling out small O-rings and even some snap rings, some really small ones. And I've used these for a ton of things. I know most of us think, hey, why is his screwdriver bent on the end? It's a pry bar. This is what you should be using instead of a screwdriver to pry. It's designed for more leverage, it's more robust, and again, these are exactly what it says, prying. They're really good. This is the previously mentioned Snap-on, but it's a swivel head. Swivel head sockets, man, I had one, and it still works over there. My buddy Jason gave this one to me, and big fan of these. Big fan. And again, you don't have to get a Snap-on. Harbor Freight sells them, and you're really going to find you're going to be somewhere and you're going to need to have some weird angle on it, and that's going to really do the job. This one's a lot simpler, and a lot of people don't use these anymore, but it's a spark plug gap tool, and it checks the gap of the spark plugs. And most of the plugs we buy today are already pre-gapped, but everybody can have an off day, so every time you get new plugs, you want to check the gap on them. These are like $1. You can buy these everywhere. Another one is the tire valve stem removal tool. This is an invaluable tool if you need to change a valve stem. Let's say something happens to one of your valve stems and you need to change it. This is how you change it, this little tool. And again, these are cheap, they're everywhere. Throw it in your box, and when you need it, you got it, because this is one of those deals, when you need it, you need it. Snap ring pliers. Again, you can use those picks for the small ones. These are for the little bigger ones. These help hold those little SOBs in place, and they, for those of y'all that know what I'm talking about, they will shoot right off into no man's land. So, but these are really helpful for that. Another one's a really simple one, a tire pressure gauge. But the one thing I'll say about the tire pressure gauge, you know, if you're trying to set a pressure on your tire that you like, that has good feel to you for however you drive, you have to use the same tire pressure gauge. Because if you use this one and set it to, and you determine, hey, I like 30 PSI, well, when you got to go to the gas station and use theirs, if it's got a gauge on it, how do you know this gauge and that gauge are the same? What if they're off 1 PSI in either direction? So just when you're trying to set up your tire pressures for what you like, whatever gauge you use it consistently. That'll give you consistent results. This is a torque wrench, Harbor Freight Special, $9.99, $9.99 on sale. I buy these, I use them. There's enough people talking about them with intelligence and test results and hard data to say these are reasonably reliable. They're 4% accurate, and you know, when you're talking about torque wrenches in general, 4% is normally pretty good. So, you know, if you've got something to say about these in the comment section, fire away. I'll defend them pretty well, and I'm going to have some data. So if you've got some data, I'll welcome the discussion to prove otherwise that these aren't very good. One thing I will say on these spin type ones, when you set it to whatever you need, when you're done, set it to 0, put it away. Leave it on 0 when you set it. And also the settings on this, I'm sorry, not the settings, the range on this is I'm getting tongue-tied, 10 to 150 foot-pounds. This is not accurate from 10 to 150 foot-pounds. That's what Harbor Freight says, but if you Google it, if you look it up, torque wrenches have a median range. So roughly on this one off the cuff, I would say the median range is probably 50 to 100 foot-pounds is where this one excels at. You want to get a torque wrench for the job you're doing. If you need 150 foot-pounds, you need a torque wrench that goes to about 200. If you need something that goes about 20 foot-pounds, you need something that tops out at like 80 foot-pounds, give or take. So that's just a little snapshot about these. You know, I wouldn't use this to torque 20 foot-pounds. I wouldn't use it to torque 150. I'd use it to torque 40, and I'd use it to torque 110 all day. So just a little snidbit about that one. The next two are a magnet that's extension. This is going to help you when you drop a socket in your engine bay and you've got a plastic under tray so it doesn't fall all the way through. You can just shove this down there and tink and pick it right up. These are, again, they're cheap, but it's really simple and helps out a lot. This, and it's cracked, but this is an inspection mirror. And what this is really good at is when you need to see something, see behind something that you can't get to, you put this down in there and you get it angled right. You need to literally look behind something. This will get the job done. And you know, these are just some tools that I wanted to talk about. And again, nothing extravagant. There's nothing extraordinary here. There's nothing out of the norm. It's just little tools that I've found that really make my job maintaining my cars much easier and have helped me along the way. And if you've got your favorite tool or whatever and you want to talk about it down below, let's talk about it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.